Do you want to yap about books? Me too. Stay tuned. So basically, this is my book wrap up for the year 2025. I know we're already at like the end of January. I don't want to talk about it. I've been meaning to do this for weeks, but we're here now, so let's get going. So, I just want to preface this with a disclaimer that these questions were not written by me. They were a tag that's been going around all the book communities online. I believe I got them from Larry Reitz, but she didn't even write them herself either. So I will tag her down below. Hopefully she sees this. But anyways, let's get started. So the first book I finished, I put 2 here because like one of them was like a magazine and kind of not like a real book. So, but it's like a special thing. It's the ESV and Caitlin Clark book magazine thing. Special, and it was such a easy, nice read to begin the year. And then for my first actual book of the year, it was Funny Story by Emily Henry. Immediate 5 stars. I love this book. I love this author too. I've only really read 2 of her books, but I plan to read at least like 2 more this year. Especially because like everything is becoming an adaptation of hers this year, so I really need to get on that. Okay. So my top 3 or 5 books that read 25, and this is gonna have a lot of repeats because well, number 1, I read 40 books last year, and then number 2, when I did this, I was like doing off the top of my head. So I was like more paying attention to the books I read the last third. Also, like the first 2/3 of the year, I was like struggling with the reading, and I still kind of am, but it's one of my goals for this year to kind of fix that. So top 3 or 5 books read in 2025. I'm listing 3, although I might add 2 more to this, but top 3. Number 1, People Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This book was so divine, so good, so made me cry, made me laugh, made me feel all the feelings, took me on a roller coaster, all that. And for number 2, I have 2 books, but they're in a duology here, so shh. It's Once and Now You're Mine by Morgan Bridges. This was like my first official foray into dark romance, and I really like it. And thank you, Courtney Van Eck, for introducing us to this and having us read this in the book club. This is spectacular. And then for number 3, I have On Wings of Blood by Briar Owen. I want to read the next book, and then I think the 3rd book comes out in like March or April or something in this Bloodwing Academy trilogy. It's epic. It's basically like a dark fantasy romance thing that kind of like starts off really like bully like, but then he's just like begging and groveling for her, and it's the best. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but I love these romance books that start out where I kind of read them and I'm thinking like in my head, like realistically, how are they going to get from point A to point B, and then they get to point B and even point C by the end of the book, and I'm like, wow. Okay, so, and that brings me to my next question. New genre trend this year, dark romance. I never had an opposition to dark romance. I just never like had a reason to read it, and then we read it in our book club this year, so yeah, and I love it personally. It's fun. It's like, yeah. I understand if it's not your thing. No shame, but don't yuck my yum, or anyone else's yum for that matter, because you know, yeah. Favorite new author for 2025? Obviously Morgan Bridges and Lucinda Berry, because Lucinda Berry wrote Saving Noah, and I have that book in another one of the answers to this question, to these questions on here, and basically, I don't know. I would just for Morgan, obviously, I just love the way she wrote like dark romance and the characters together. It was just really pretty and really epic and really like just like I could really vibe them together. And then for Lucinda Berry, I feel like her book concept of what I could read Saving Noah. This was another one we read in the book club, but trigger warning for the topic. by Alex Nilsson from People We Meet on Vacation by really like. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, they were just, they have my heart always. I just love them so much as individuals, as a couple. Like, I need to love you both as individuals before I love you as a couple, and just seeing them through each other's eyes and how we felt about each other, it was like, oh, they had like the kind of relationship that I'm like, I want what they have. When it's my turn, for you, it's good. So, my favorite romance subplot for 2025, I said on Wings of Blood by Briar Moment, because I feel like that fits the romantic category. Although, if we're just doing like contemporary romance, obviously People We Meet on Vacation, and yeah, but since this is romantically focused as a question, I feel like I'm gonna say on Wings of Blood by Briar Moment. It was really good. It was really well written. Slow burn. Best mystery thriller crime fiction from 2025. Obviously, Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. Although the subject matter is so, again, I can't stress enough, check your trigger warnings. Although the subject matter is like a little bit too much for some people, or on the nose, or it's just like triggering to some people. I mean, even I got grossed out reading it. It's not like, not grossed out, but like disturbed reading it. It's not like a personal trigger for me, but yeah, it was really well written, and it was very empathetic, and it makes you question a lot of things in terms of like morality and how people function. And I guess because I'm not a psychologist, so I didn't know about a lot of that stuff before, so yeah. And a book I want adapted to the screen. Well, I did kind of achieve this one because I said In a Holidays by Christine Lauren, because that is coming to the screen with Maddie Ziegler and some unknowns, but they look perfect for the role. So, and I loved Dance Moms, and I loved Maddie Ziegler. So, we shall see. I'm excited for that to come to the screen. Countries visited through 2025 books. Now, that helps when you have People We Meet on Vacation. Didn't you? So, I read this question as like favorite countries visited through books. Most of them took place in the United States anyway, so it's like, you know, I'm not gonna say the United States is my favorite country for obvious reasons right now. We'll get into it. But I said Tuscany, Italy, and Croatia. Just the vineyards, the countryside in Tuscany, Italy, and the beaches and the vineyards in Croatia. I would love to go there. Take me with you next time, Bobby and Alex. Although, you know, yeah. And then a book that you wish had a sequel and alternate ending, Don't Run by Miranda Stewart. This is her kind of like fictionalist autobiography. Miranda's a friend of mine, and she has her own TikTok account on here. Go check it out. But she just announced her second book, so I would check that out if I was you. Just saying, it's available on Kindle. And a book with an unnecessary sequel, or, you know, prequel that came later. We'll say this is a sequel, because I'm going nonfiction for this, because none of my fiction books really disappointed me this year. I'm going to say Living the Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. See, I loved The Artist's Way back in 2020 when I read it with, like, a workshop kind of, like, book club. It was so epic. But, like, this, I don't know if I just wasn't, like, in the right mood for it, or it was just a little too personal, but I didn't really like it. I don't know if I really liked it. Anyways, I am gonna catch you guys in another part, because this is gonna reach 10 minutes and run right out of time, and I don't want to leave you here. Hello, do you want to continue to yell about books? Well, stay tuned. So basically, this is part 2 of my book wrap up for the year 2025, so stay tuned if you want to hear that. So the question we have left off on is a book that made you sad and made you cry, and I said Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. Yes, there are other books that, like, got me emotional, but they had happy endings. This does not, although I would argue that one of the characters doesn't deserve a happy ending, so it was what it needed to be, but it still is sad. Like, I felt a lot for these characters, and I don't want to spoil it or give away too much, but I was very conflicted about the mother and throughout the whole book morally, and I just ended up feeling sorry for her by the end, because I feel like she's just dealing with a lot, and it's like not fair to her, but it is what it is, even though I don't agree with how she handles things sometimes. Sorry, my hair is like annoying me, but we're good. We're gonna move on. Okay, I think I'm happy-ish with it like that. We're gonna move on. Nobody cares. So that was a book that made me cry. A total whiplash, though, for a book that someone recommended. Again, Courtney, because she didn't even like read this beforehand. It was like a novella we read in the book club for Christmas. Saving Note was also a book we read in the book club. But for Christmas, we read Matt and Santa's by D. Garcia. This is literally just a smutty, spicy 50-page Christmas novella. That's it. That's all you need to know. But I loved it. I had a great time reading it. Like, I felt like the author was very fantastic and talented at what she does and what she achieved in this book. So I was happy with it. I was. Again, check your trigger warnings for completely different reasons, but you know. Or just be mindful of what you like and don't like. Some books... Oh, no. Sorry. A book that was not worth the hype on social media, to me, this was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I want to preface this by saying I do really like this book and series and the characters, but, like, I just feel like the writing, like, doesn't always, like, do it for me. Sometimes I feel like, and what do I know, since she sold so many copies, it's so popular, it's like, it was the most popular romantasy series before Fourth Wing came on the scene, but I just feel like some of the prose is a little too flowery and, like, extensive for me, and it could be edited down a little bit, so. When I say it's not worth the hype, that doesn't mean I didn't like it. It just means that, like, everyone's obsessed with it, and I loved and liked it, but, like, I'm not, like, completely obsessed with it, if that makes sense. But I feel like nobody really talks about the series because, anymore, at least this past year, because she's taking her sweet time coming out with the next book. So I'm like, what the heck? Because I still want it. Even though, like, the writing's not my favorite, I still want it. And that's not even to say she's a bad author. She's very talented. I just think, like, if anything, her editors could have done a little bit more. Like, oh, Sarah, maybe we don't take a paragraph to say something that could take a sentence. You know, notes like that. They make a big difference. They do. So, some books deserve DNF, which were yours. I did not DNF this, but again, we're going to go to nonfiction, because my fiction didn't really disappoint me this year. But Basketball for Dummies, I think it was by Richard Phillips. I mean, this is great if you want to be a total nerd of basketball. I really like the WNBA and stuff, so I wanted to understand more about basketball, but I just feel like this was a little too much for me. It was really thick. It was very detailed. I took a lot of notes. And for what? I don't feel like any of the information is still in my brain. Maybe it is subconsciously. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like I should have DNF'd this if I DNF'd, but I didn't want to DNF because I was like, oh no, I really need to, like, understand basketball, since I'm, like, watching basketball regularly now, and I don't know. Maybe look up some videos on TikTok and YouTube. A book, okay, so on to the next. A book that more people need to read, in my opinion, especially because everything is so fiction focused in the book talk space, which is totally fine by me. I'm not Trust me, I don't want to tell people to read self-help books. I think most of them I read and I'm like, this could have been an email. Or this could have been a power presentation. This could have been like an internet article. But so that's not what I'm about to encourage here today. But a book that more people need to read. I put two here, but they kind of go hand in hand. But the first one is Trixie and Katya's Guide to Modern Womanhood. Trixie and Katya are two drag queens from Drag Race, and they were on season 7. Then they came back for their own all-star seasons. Katya made it to like the final 3 or 4, I want to say. And Trixie won her all-star season, so give it up for Trixie. They're so funny. They are so funny. They are so talented. They've been on so many tours together. And they wrote 2 books together. The first one being Trixie's and Katya's Guide to Modern Womanhood. And then the sequel, Working Girls, Trixie and Katya's Guide to Professional Womanhood. I believe the first one, The Guide to Modern Womanhood, ended up on the New York Times bestseller list. I'm sorry, I don't know why my brain freezed for a minute. But basically, they are so funny. And I know these titles sound like self-help. They're not. They're totally satirical, funny, comedic books. It's like nothing in here is meant to be taken seriously at all. Even their author descriptions, that Katya lied and was like, not lied, but obviously made an obvious joke saying like, oh, she has a husband that she's married to and has 3 kids. She's a drag queen. They're both like cisgender gay men, and I think that's beautiful. And there's funny photos of them in the book, and they go through like different categories. In the professional one, they go through like different types of jobs you can have, your approaches to them. So, like, I can't sing their praises enough. I think they're hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. So, I urge you to read these books. If you're into any sort of, like, comedy or satirical stuff, or you want to try something that's maybe nonfiction, but, you know, self-help kind of gives nonfiction a bad rap, in my opinion. I'm more of, like, a spiritual person or comedy person with satire like this for my nonfiction. I usually don't read self-help, so that's different. So I would check that out. So they like it's kind of like those books your mom would read in the 90s and be like, oh, like, how do I be a woman? How do I work? And it's like that, but it's like a parody of those kind of books. So it's basically like a parody satire book. I can't recommend it enough. I don't know how to do it justice, so I'm going to move on. So rereads from previous years. I reread the first 4 books in the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. And that's also, like, the first arc of the series, so, like, that's, like, what she originally wrote, and, like, what would have been the original series, I think, or whatever. So I counted that as my series I finished in 2025. I said the first arc of the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. I love these books so much, man. I read them a lot growing up. I, like, devoured them. Like, I read each book in, like, a day in junior high. And I just could not get enough of them. And they were just as good rereading them, so if you're into, like, YA mystery thriller with, like, a feminine lens, like a girly kind of lens, this book is often compared to, like, the teenage version of Desperate Housewives. In fact, I think that's what the publishing house said to Sarah when they commissioned her to write this book, is like, it's a teenage version of Desperate Housewives. So I recommend this enough. And I'm about to reach 10 minutes again, so I will see you all in the next part for more of my book wrap-up for the year of 2025. Okay, welcome to part 3 of my book wrap-up for 2025. If you want to yap about books, stay tuned. So, we're just gonna keep going with the questions. So, my most read genre in 2025, and probably the most read genre for all of time, for me, is going to be romance! According to Fable. Yes, I even checked on Fable because I wanted to be accurate. Although, I could have predicted this. It's not exactly unpredictable for me, if you know me at all. What can I say? I'm just a lover girl. I love romance. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So, a book adaptation I saw and liked in 2025, excuse me. Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, like, that book was amazing, and then the movie was so cute. And I thought they tried to keep in as much of everything as possible, and I thought they did a really good job with it. I don't know if a lot of people saw it or heard about it or whatever, because it wasn't like, it was in the theaters and you could get tickets ahead of time, but I don't know like how big of a deal it was, because I didn't hear people talking about it. I know people, they have mixed feelings about Colleen Hoover out there, which I get. That's very valid, but I was very curious and I want to see this adaptation. It's like a mother-daughter story, basically, and I saw it with my mom, so I read the book, and then I went to see it. So, overall, really good, really accurate. The actresses are really talented. Ooh, the girl that plays the aunt and Megan plays the mom in that movie. If you're into that. Yeah. And then the biggest star, I think, is the girl who plays the daughter, but I can't think of her name right now. But I know she was, like, a little girl on Fuller House at one point. And then she was also the young version of Sabrina Spellman in, like, the new Sabrina series. Not the sitcom from the 90s, but the dramatic one on Netflix. She was, like, the young version of her, I believe. I don't know her name. I can't think of her name right now. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. But moving on to a series I started new and plan to continue. So, and that would be the Bloodwing Academy trilogy by Briar Bolin. I was so pleasantly surprised about that. I don't know, I just picked that up on a whim. The covers are gorgeous. And I love the premise. I've talked about, like, the dark romantic-y kind of, like, premise of it. So, and, yeah, and it's not even really that dark. It's just more, like, bully at the beginning. But, I guess it is more angsty than, like, your average, like, fluffy, cute, contemporary romance. But, it's vampires and fae. So it's like, what do you expect? A book I wish I could live in and be a part of. Red, Right... I don't know why I can't say it. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. That shouldn't be as much of a tongue twister as it is. Yes, but I love that book. I love Alex and Henry. And I want to live in and be a part of it because I would like a woman to be the president. And I would love for this country to fully just embrace queer people. And they do for the most part, but it feels like hate is winning the battles lately. It won't win the war, but it's winning the battles right now. And that's all I'll say about that. Also, the book with the prettiest cover is On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. Oh my god, it's like red and shiny, and then it has like, my cousin's borrowing it right now, so can't show it to you, but that it has like dragon scales as like the sprayed or like painted on or sketch edges. It's like dragon scales, and then it's like red and shiny. And then the sequel, I believe I have the sequel right here. Okay, so I haven't read this yet, but I will. The Bond That Burns. This is the second book. Picture these dragon scales, but red, and I think they might have been a little rounder on the first book. Not sure, but basically like this. Very cute, but red for the first book. Very cute, very pretty. Very excited to read that second book. That's like one of my most anticipated reads for this year. So, and a book with the best friendship. This was hard for me because I feel like, I don't know, every book I read this year was so romance heavy that, like, I don't know, friendship is kind of like went to the wayside. But I did say, although I wasn't sure about this answer. For best girl friendship, I feel like, although it depends on like which ones you're talking about. I said Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard because those girls have a great friendship in the show, but in the books it can be a little bit like like layered and toxic, but they are teenage girls, so it's like I'm not like holding it against them. I just don't know if it's the best friendship. Another one that crossed my mind was, Once You're Mine by Morgan Bridges, but and although that their friendship is really cute, they really are like there for each other and sisters like that. Um, I feel like the book is about the romance, and then but and what's another book? I also would say another book with the breast no best friendship is like Red, White, and Royal Blue because I feel like June and Alex have a great sibling relationship in that book, and then Alex and Nora have an amazing friendship in that book. June doesn't even exist in the movie, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, and then uh, Poppy and Alex are wonderful friends, but it's a friends to lovers story, so I don't know if I could say that for this question. Although, your lover should be the love of your life, your soulmate should be your best friend. So there's that. Um, okay, a book that made me want to travel. Obviously, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I feel like that's such a cop out answer, but like they went to so many places and they took trips every year, and I haven't been on a trip in God knows how long. And I used to go with my family every year when I was a kid, so that book made me want to travel. They were really traveling hardcore. They really doing it up big, especially when she had that big wig job for a while. Holy crap. Okay. And a book that made me happy and laugh is also Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I feel like I laughed out loud a lot while I was reading that book. It also made me like really happy and hopeful for the future. It's like a warm hug. It's really like comforting. I love romance, especially queer romance. It's just bellissimo. Let's see. And then the best world building in a book from 2025. Once again, I have to give it to On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. It was the world building in that book, especially because like this is part of the personal book. She kind of like falls from another world like into their world, and it's just like I want to know. The world building is done so well, and it's so complex, and it's so like she did such a good job. So, and one new lesson that I learned from the books this year okay, and I learned that you could find something that you can relate to, resonate with, or connect with in almost any story that you enjoy, and that is important. And I do think that's really true. I feel like books that resonate really strongly with you, like there's something about it that like resonates with you, or like is vibing with you on the same frequency that you you can learn something from. And I think that's why fiction is so important. And that's why like I don't know. I don't like when people downplay or like talk crap about fiction like that. That's not cool in my book. Okay, so the most inspiring character I met in 2024 was Lily Blossom Bloom from It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, because I feel like she was so strong and she went through so much and she tried so hard to leave her relationship. Okay, so I have two more questions. I'll save that for the last part. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year, even though it's late January. Okay. Hi, welcome to part 4, aka the last part of my book wrap up for the year 2025. Yay! And the crowd screams. So if you want to yell about books, stay seated. Stay in your seat. Watch me. So we're on the last two questions for my book wrap up for the year 2025. So let's go. Okay. So The last book I read in 2025 was Christmas with a Crank by Courtney Walsh. That book was so cute. It felt like a warm hug. It felt like a Hallmark, like a classic Hallmark movie around the holidays. It was so special. I loved it. Loved it. It felt like drinking hot chocolate, warm cookies, wrapped up in a blanket on winter's night. All that. A book I look forward to read in 2026. So, Stranger Things just ended. So, I said all of my Stranger Things novels because I'm still not over it. I'm still not over ending. It was like one of my favorite shows of all time for the longest time. And I have a few Stranger Things novels, so I want to like relive it and like continue to move over a little bit through my books and stuff. And then the first two primary books, I got those TikTok shop. Actually, let me show you. They were advertising these on TikTok. Yes. I will read that because everybody's on Feral with me and Rover. I haven't read or watched it obviously, but these are books that I stuff. So, yep, aside from just Bond Birds and Children's I'll look for you. But yeah, that's it. That's my book wrap up for the year 2025. Let me know. Yeah. What time is it? Any campaigns or last year or any of the questions you want to answer. And if you haven't seen the other parts, go watch the other parts. Great. I love you. I think about this. So this was fun. This is it. So thank you. Good night, everybody.